So I'm sitting here today because this amazing tree that I'm under asked me to share a message. So I would love to share a little more about my relationship with this tree and about plant consciousness in general, and share what the Ulu Tree has to say. So just overarching in terms of awakening, that when we wake up we discover we are everything. And in that everything we also recognize and respect the individuation that we as one consciousness have created to love and experience and create and explore and love and live and grow and evolve in absolute stunning magnificence. And so this relationship I have with the tree is because of a surrendering through a sense of self here, opening up to the totality, and then being in a seamless communication with all of existence, which is one singular existence. And yet we create ourselves with all these lenses, so we get to experience and live and love and learn in different ways. And so the wisdom that this tree has to share is different than the wisdom that a cat might share, or that a human being might share, or that the sky might share, or the water might share. Everything is one living singular consciousness. So my relationship with this tree first began when I started making ulu bread. This is an ulu tree, or a breadfruit tree. And the kitchen I was cooking from is right up there, and so my doors were wide open to this tree. And we started co-creating together. And the ulu bread, consistently, whenever we would make it together, everybody would just be completely devouring this ulu bread in very, very short order. And there was something that they were getting in it that they weren't getting in other food. There was a mana, a life force, co-creative wisdom that was coming through and offering a profound nourishment. So the ulu tree began communicating with me even more, to my surprise at the time. I was meditating and needed more of a sense of protection. And so the ulu tree came into my consciousness with some information to share. Both intellectual information, energetic information, and energetic experience, energetic wisdom. And sharing, the tree was sharing its deep intrinsic wisdom with me. And not in English language, in the language that we all speak of consciousness. And so in this first profound, deep communication on my end, with consciousness present, the tree started to show me the origin of plant consciousness coming from source, parallel with the origin of human consciousness coming from source. And it wasn't just human consciousness, it was beings that look human, with arms and legs and a head, like our I don't have a word for that. But it was like a very long, ancient source of wisdom being shared. And so I was shown source consciousness, one single consciousness, manifesting itself in two ways, specifically the ones that were being shown to me. There are more, but shown through plant kingdom, queendom, and humankind. And in this source there was a sound emanation, a reflection of the deeper truth that we all are, with a different trajectory of a capacity of experiencing, living, learning, growing, maturing, gathering information, sharing wisdom, creating offspring, self-population, generation, as well as an immune system. And so the tree started to show me its immune system and showed me its circulation system. Right? We also have a circulation system, but it was showing me its circulation system and how it gathers nourishment and nutrition through the leaves and through the ground, and that in that process it gathers from both the ground and from the sky and creates a nourishment that itself knows how to use to create a healthy immune system, protect itself. And it went into some of the cellular biological details of that. And it started to show me the parallel in humanness of our cascading down through source and into our immune systems, and to show me the direct parallel. If I back up a little bit in that trajectory from source all the way down through to the individuated humanness or the individuated plant, there is an organizational structure of one single consciousness that starts to then differentiate itself. And in that differentiation, there's more uniqueness, as well as blueprints that are recreated with another layer of uniqueness. So it's easy to see Ulu Tree, one single consciousness, the blueprint of Ulu, and then the individual trees and how they each then grow in the midst of their environment with a deep blueprint. So human beings are the same way. We have this blueprint, these arms, legs, mind, heart, emotions, digestion. And that from source, we also go through that same differentiation, individuation process from a singular truth into greater and greater individuation that has blueprints that are reused, that are our design, and then are manifested in a uniqueness that also grows and evolves in relation to its environment. So I want to jump to this immune system. It also started to show me the toroidal field, which I've experienced prior to my time with the Ulu Tree, and experiencing the field of the universe, or the field of God, the overarching field of consciousness that creation arises out of, as far as my consciousness has seen at this point, in terms of a form related to the manifestation of the universe and consciousness. And so the tree was showing me that it also abides by that form, that field, and that you can see in plants that shape. And it was showing me that fruit does that also. The tree was starting to show me the relationship in terms of the parenting, right, and the offsprings, and that it makes its fruit in that same toroidal field. It's funny, when I was exploring my questioning of that information, I was looking at bananas. Where's the toroidal field in a banana? But if you look at a banana growing, it's this unbelievable spiral of all these bananas all sticking up. They're upside down. They're all in this amazing, amazing spiral with this stunning, giant, purple teardrop thing that's underneath. It's completely in a toroidal field. So it was showing me this field, and it was showing me that field in relation to its immune system, both how it circulates through its veins, its circulatory system, and then creates a field of protection, and then also creates that field around its fruit. And it started to show me about disease and how the field shifts as a reflection of either the plant's own consciousness or the impact of the environment in relation to the plant's consciousness, of when that field shifts, and then insects can come and then create damage. And it was showing me this parallel in relation to human consciousness and the human immune system, and was showing me how to be in this toroidal field in myself, amplify it to protect myself on multiple levels of consciousness, not just the physical level. It was also showing me about wisdom, and that it shares its wisdom with its offspring the same way that we would do that as well. And that it does that through its seeds. Like any good parent, we want to give our offspring our best and our wisdom that we have gained. And so many people may be aware that if you're wanting to transplant one plant to another area, you're going to want to get seeds or a plant from an area that has had the similar climate or similar external stressors or influences, because the wisdom of that seed is going to have been produced from the co-creation of that tree with the environment. And so it will have a wisdom that goes along with that particular environment. And so the seeds will do better because of their wisdom, because of their offspring, because of that relationship between the parent being sharing its wisdom. There may have been more in that conversation, but I don't remember at the moment, and the tree is not offering me other things that I have forgotten. So another conversation that I had with this tree, well, the next two I'll share about were both surprises. One of them was I would often bring fruit from this stunning place where I am to a weekly dance that I go to share with everybody. I usually brought oranges. And the tree was asking me to bring some of its fruit to the dance. It was fairly adamant about it. And there was another message with it, but I didn't take the time to let it all play out. There needs to be a deep silence on my end to fully receive. And so I could feel the incoming message. There was a second message coming with that message to bring the fruit to the dance. But I couldn't take the time to hear it in that moment, or I didn't feel like I could. So I took the fruit and brought it because I knew that was important to the tree. And when I got there and I handed this box of ulu fruit to the producer of the dance, the tree flooded me with its consciousness and shared that it wanted to know where I went on my Sunday dancing, and that by bringing the fruit there was a communication back that would inform the tree of my whereabouts and my experience. I had absolutely no idea whatsoever that there was a communication back to the tree. many of us have heard, if you have not experienced yourself, stories of human mothers suddenly knowing something was wrong with their child, right? Or having a sudden knowing, or knowing. And so we understand that in terms of human consciousness. And this was a new bit of information for me about plant consciousness. So it was quite an experience to be gifting over this ulu fruit, just thinking that I was sharing and the tree was just wanting to share in its abundance. But it was more than that. It was a deeper and actually more personal exchange. So the last story I'll share before I get to the message that the Ulu Tree was wanting me to share and specifically asked for me to make a video about. This last previous experience with the tree was I was having I was sad. I was having a deep grieving moment and feeling alone without other human beings around. And in that sadness, so I walked by the tree and the tree called me to come over to it. And sometimes it would do that to then offer a bit of wisdom or some information, or reminding me to feel my feet on the ground and open up to the sky and the sun, reminding me in the morning to greet the sun the way it was greeting the sun and receive the brilliance and the love and the nourishment through my skin the way it receives it through its leaves. So often the tree would call me over. But this was different. The tree called me over, called me to come closer, and come even closer to the trunk, to the base, and offered to hug me. I had no idea what that was going to look like. It didn't quite make sense to me. I'd never had that kind of experience with a tree before. And so I leaned forward and leaned into the tree. And I don't know how it did it, but it actually energetically offered a wrapping around me to hug me and hold me. And I cried. I cry now just sharing it. In that moment of grief and human aloneness, that sense of needing to be touched, human connection, sense of love and warmth and connectedness. And the tree offered that. It was a stunning, stunning moment. So, new possibilities with your houseplants. Just kind of sharing. And so this last bit, this message that the Ulu Tree has been asking me to share with everyone, I need to drop into a deeper, quiet space with. Because it was a deeper level that it was speaking from than I had experienced before. So I'll just be quiet for a moment. So the tree wanted to share a message with humanity. It was sharing with me our multidimensional consciousness, and that we as humans function that way, and plant consciousness does also. And that the information we gather, we are seeding the universe with on multiple dimensions of consciousness. And it was showing me the power of humanity, that we can walk. we can walk around and share our wisdom in a way that's different than the way that plants can. And it was speaking to the power of that wisdom, and for people to recognize this about themselves. Part of the way that we humans share our wisdom is with words and with our heart. And that if we open to the depth of our wisdom, there's another piece here. Let me just... So, the tree is reminding me of the larger picture that this information was offered within. So there was a call from the tree, a desire in wisdom and love to reach humanity, to help humanity through the challenges and suffering and difficulties that are currently happening. And the recommendation from the tree was to reach deep into your roots, to ground yourself between heaven and earth, as heaven and earth, and the corridor in between, the core flow in between, just as the tree does, with its roots in the ground, in that fluid consciousness up through, open to the sky, open to the light of truth that you are. And in this experience, this being shared with me, I was shown a much deeper understanding of plants, humans, and the earth. And the tree showed me its roots going all the way down in through, down into one earth, one earth consciousness. We are also that same one consciousness in our humanness. We're all a reflection of this one truth. But the tree was showing me in relation to that earth expression, and that its roots are in that one earth. And so the water from the oceans is one water that it absorbs in through its roots. And the information that comes through it goes down in through the earth and feeds the water, the ocean. And the nourishment is one nourishment in all directions. It was also showing me the spin of the earth and the stability of the ground in the midst of that spin. And in all the turmoil, the spin, in the evolution that's happening, this seemingly chaotic and yet rapid spiral of evolution we are in, the same as the spiral, the spinning of the earth that we are in. If we ground in the root of ourselves, we can find the steady ground and the deep nourishment within us that is actually much larger and connects us to the totality and the whole of the earth, of the planet, of the larger aspects of consciousness. So the invitation was to drop into that depth in yourself, rest in that. And from here to sing the universe and to sing love and truth and all the best wisdom that you are aware of, that you know, that moves through you. And by connecting in this way, you will access a larger wisdom than maybe you have currently even remembered. And then again, back to where I started part of this sharing of humans being able to walk. From here, the tree was showing me that we then as humans, in that amazing groundedness, the same kind of groundedness that the tree has, in that groundedness, when we recognize it, we have that same stability and the capacity to walk and to share our wisdom and speak. And so in the multi-dimensional toroidal fields of our consciousness, we are seeding the universe on multiple levels. And the tree was sharing me the power and the wisdom and the love that we are, and that we co-create, and that we share. There's also an invitation from the tree to develop relationships with the plants around you and the trees. The relationship that I have here with this tree was developed out of love. Love and respect and appreciation. And so as you open to this in your life, you too can have relationships with the natural world around you and develop friendships, intimate allies and connections. And it's all one singular truth. It's the same single I am, manifesting in this stunning uniqueness. And I would like to thank you for listening, and thank you for your potential openness to recognizing this truth, recognizing the capacity that we all have to communicate and co-create and love and respect and understand in wisdom and humility, appreciation, and divine love. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope that this inspires you. I hope that this inspires you to open to the absolute, exquisite, profound beauty that we are living within. You can have this relationship with one plant in a small apartment. Right? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be in this location where I am. If you can be out in the woods, hallelujah. Or in a park. Or with your one plant. Or go get a plant. There's just so much magnificence available. So thank you so much again for listening to me sharing and hearing the wisdom of this tree. So the tree is offering one huge hug to everybody. Thank you so much. Aloha. Namaste.